What's up, everyone? Tokyo Brandon, and we're back. I'm here with an Olympics baseball preview. Olympics baseball will be starting on July 28th and going through August 8th. I will be capping the whole tournament. And right now, WagerTalk is doing a special for me. You can get my entire Olympic baseball package for only $75. If that's not a good enough deal for you, you can go to my page right now. I have a futures Olympic baseball bet, a 3% play on the final for only $9. If you go to Tokyo Brandon's page at WagerTalk.com. Now, on to the Olympics preview. The Olympics baseball tournament will take place with 6 teams. They will be separated into 2 divisions, Group A and Group B. Group A will be Japan, the Dominican Republic, and Mexico, while Group B will be the United States, Israel, and Korea. I break this down by looking at each team's notable players, their pitching staff, and their hitters. The first team I want to look at is the Dominican Republic. Currently, the Dominican Republic is ranked 7th in the world. They have mostly retired or minor league MLB players on their roster. Most notably, you'll probably recognize the names Jose Bautista. You'll notice the name Melky Cabrera, Emilio Bonifacio, and Jumbo Diaz are the most famous guys on their team. They also have 2 pretty good, fairly decent pitchers coming from Japanese baseball, notably the Yomiuri Giants. They have CC Mercedes and Angel Sanchez. Neither one is elite in Japan, but they're innings eaters who can probably hold down innings fairly well. This pitching staff is not very good, but their hitters probably can crank quite a bit in this tournament. I expect a lot of the Dominican games to be going over, as they do have hitting, but they lack pitching. The pitchers that they do have, they can't use them every game. So I do see this team hemorrhaging runs while scoring runs. So I see a lot of the Dominicans' games going over. The next team I want to look at is Israel. Israel is made up of a bunch of people who are not from Israel. They're mostly Americans who are Jewish. Israel is ranked 24th in the world. Probably the only name you'll recognize from this roster is Ian Kinsler, who was recently retired. The rest of them are minor league or free agents in the U.S. who did not make the U.S. team. I don't see this team being able to score. I don't see this team being able to pitch. I don't like Israel's prospects very much, but they're in the tournament because they won the European Championship 2 or 3 years ago. They really don't deserve to be there, and they'll probably get crushed every game they play. The next team I want to look at is Japan. Japan is currently ranked number 1 in the world. Japan and Korea are the 2 countries in this tournament who are putting their pro league tournaments on hold in order to send their best players to the Olympics. The name you'll definitely recognize on this team is Masahiro Tanaka, who pitched for the Yankees last year. He's back with the Rakuten Golden Eagles. He'll be probably the number 2 rotation starter for this team. He'll probably pitch in the second game against Mexico. This team is loaded with pitching. As is typical of Japanese baseball, it's very pitcher-oriented. They do have a stacked lineup from 1 through 9. However, they're stacked because they hit in Japan. Whether they can hit against other countries' pitchers remains to be seen. Generally, Japanese hitters don't do that well in other leagues. However, this lineup is pretty stacked. It'll be interesting to see how Japan fares, but they are one of the strongest teams in the tournament, and they are the current number 1 ranked team. It's going to be tough for other teams to score on Japan because this pitching, not just the rotation, but the relievers, very strong, major league level. The fourth team I want to preview is Mexico. Mexico is made up of mostly players from the Major League Minor Leagues, the Mexican League, and Japanese MPB. They're ranked number 5 in the world, and the names you'll recognize from the Mexican team are Oliver Perez, Adrian Gonzalez, and Danny Espinoza. They also have Brandon Laird, who plays in Japan for the Chiba Lotte Marines. They do have the hitting, but I don't think they have enough depth at pitching, which could be their downfall. Add to that the fact that they are in the same bracket as Japan. It's going to be tough for Mexico. Mexico has a pretty good lineup, pretty good pitching. Their problem is depth. After the main guys go, who's going to back them up? That could be their downfall as the tournament progresses. The next team to preview is South Korea. South Korea, along with Japan, is putting their season on hold so they can send their KBO All-Stars. They do have some decent hitting, and they do have some decent pitching as well. And also, Korea has been rocked recently by a couple of scandals. Notably, several players from the NC Dinos broke protocol and invited people over to a hotel party, and all of those players were kicked off the Olympic team, and they've also been suspended for the rest of the KBO season. So they're missing quite a few players in the lineup, and they're also missing quite a few pitchers from Major League. Korea and Japan are pausing their season to send their players to this tournament. However, their players that play in the Major Leagues will not be attending the tournament. So for Japan, they're missing Darvish, they're missing Otani, and they're missing Kikuchi. Korea is missing Kyun, who pitches for the St. Louis Cardinals, and a few others that pitch in Major League Baseball. Korea is ranked number 3 in the world, but I think that is a little too high of a ranking for them. Their hitters can make a little bit of noise. I don't think their pitching can hold it down. They have a pretty good lineup in the KBO, but I don't know how they're going to fare against other teams in the world. I don't have a very optimistic outlook on their success in this tournament. Also, they have very few left-handed pitchers, and they don't have a lot of depth at pitching. Their bullpen is also not good. So I put their pitching staff maybe 3rd or 4th in the whole tournament. They should be able to get out in the winning bracket of Group B, however, because they're with Israel. And the last team to preview, I'm doing these in alphabetical order, is the United States. They're currently ranked number 4 in the world. And they are made up of minor leaguers, college players, people from Japanese baseball. The names that you'll recognize from this team are Edwin Jackson, Scott Kazmir, Todd Frazier. Tyler Austin plays for the Yokohama DNA Bay Stars and is having a great season. Also, Nick Martinez is a pitcher for the SoftBank Hawks. He'll represent USA as well. They are pretty good at pitching. They're pretty good at hitting, but they're not really good at anything. They're probably good enough to get into the medal rounds. Basically, they're retired MLB players and young prospects. So that's my roundup of how the teams are. Now I'll tell you how the tournament is going to be run. 2 groups of 3 teams, Japan, Dominican Republic, and Mexico in one group, Israel, Korea, and the US in another group. Each team in each group will play each other once, and the first place team will play the first place team of Group A and Group B. The second place team of Group A will play the second place team of Group B, and the third place team will play the third place team, respectively. There will be a loser's bracket and a winner's bracket. The team that comes out of the winner's bracket will play the team that comes out of the loser's bracket for the gold medal. There is a designated hitter to be used in every game. There is a mercy rule. If you're winning by 15 after 5 innings, the game is called. If you're winning by 10 after 7 innings, the game will be called. Games that go into extra innings will start with a man on first and second base. And those are basically the rule changes between normal baseball and Olympic baseball. I see Japan and Mexico coming out of Group A. I see the US and Korea coming out of Group B. How Mexico and the Dominican Republic will fare will be quite interesting to watch. And I also am looking forward to seeing how Korea will fare amid their scandals and missing players. So that's my roundup of Olympic baseball. Hope you enjoyed my preview. Again, WagerTalk is doing a special for me. Get my entire Olympic baseball package for $75. You can also get my Olympic baseball futures play for only $9 at Tokyo Brandon's site at WagerTalk.com. That's it for now, guys. Let's hope we win, and I'll be back with more. Salute.